This Sunday, runners are going to be taking over the lakefront path for the Hoka One Half Marathon and 5K. Ryan Scofield is going to be one of the runners out there. We're going to be cheering him on, but he is a longtime cancer survivor who is going to go out there. He's going to show his stuff. And Ryan, tell us a little bit about how you got into running and why this race is so important to you.
Okay. Yeah. I actually started running all the way back in high school. But it was because it was the only sport that didn't have cuts. And so I was actually junior varsity for all 4 years. But I've enjoyed running my whole life, kind of on and off. But about 11 years ago, I was diagnosed with cancer, Waldenstroms macroglobulinemia, which is a very rare cancer. Only 2,000 people per year come down with it. And I felt like if I could, after I recovered in my first treatments, if I could raise money for treatments and whatever, I would like to do that. And so that's where running became more important to me. And so I continued to do it ever since.
And there was a purpose behind it. And you did that one about 10 years ago. And then you're running again right now. What was your inspiration behind wanting to run this year?
I had sort of gotten back into running year round only recently, and I was really feeling strong. The new medication that I'm on is working extremely well. And I feel like every time I go out running, it's me fighting back against my cancer. And I feel like I'm really doing something with the health that I've been given. And so to me, running always feels like an important thing to do, because I know that a lot of cancer patients can't. And I feel like I can fight back against my cancer, but also for people who are debilitated, who can't go exercise, I feel like I'm almost obligated to. And so
now talk a little bit about the effects of this rare type of cancer that you have, and what are some of the limitations or symptoms that you experience because of it.
Sure. So when I was diagnosed, my hemoglobin had fallen extremely low because my bone marrow was completely compromised and it wasn't creating hemoglobin. And so if you have low hemoglobin in general, that makes you very tired and fatigued. Like I was winded going up a flight of stairs. I also lost a lot of weight. In fact, I was down about 30 pounds. And if you look at me, I don't really have 30 pounds to give. So those were the primary symptoms. And that's what happens with a lot of Waldenstroms patients. But the chemotherapy helps you get your bone marrow back and improve your blood. And it's something you feel right away. And so feeling a sort of strength after the therapy made me really want to go use that strength. And I still to this day remember what that fatigue felt like. And I don't ever want to have that again. And so I'm always thankful when I don't have that fatigue, right? And running is a way I can express that.
Now let's talk a little bit about 10 years ago, after you finished treatment, after you finished the chemo, and you did that, took that first step for that half marathon, and you did the whole journey, and then you stepped off and you've completed the race, and you were also able to raise money as well too. I mean, tell me what that did to you that 10 years later you still wanted to go ahead and continue running.
Yeah, it really energized me, the fundraising in particular, because I just reached out to friends and family. And when they hear you're raising money for a good cause, they seem to just bend over backwards. They want to help you out too, because they also want to be part of the solution. And so that was a good experience for me. And that's why I did a second fundraiser during the Chicago Marathon about 3 years later. Unfortunately, I didn't complete that because my health had gone back down again after 3 years and I needed more treatments. But the team that I was with, they did finish the whole marathon and we raised even more money. And that kind of spirit really energizes me. And I continue to work with the Waldenstroms Foundation. It's an international group that channels money right into research. And so since it's such a small disease that almost nobody gets, there's also not much funding for them. And so I feel like I'm really participating in my own cure. Every time I do a race, I'm always really energized by the spectators. I mean, the people who come out and support you, whether it's your own family or complete strangers, it's an experience like none other, really. And in Chicago, it's even more special because the race is so big. There's so many people in it. That means there's a lot of spectators and the energy, you can just kind of feel it while you're doing it. And, I think a half marathon is a great challenge for a lot of people. They might not think they can do it, but if you can run 5 miles, you can probably run 13, and it'll be hard. It'll be really hard, but when you finish it, you're going to really feel like you've accomplished something.
Oh,
So
exactly. Well, best of
I'd
luck to you
encourage
on
anyone
something.
to give it a try.
Yeah, once you take that first step, then you get addicted and you want to continue, and then you want to beat your time. And you
Definitely.
once you can do that, you can pretty much overcome anything because you're setting your mind to think differently. So I think that that's super important.
Yeah, I'd encourage anyone to give it a try. I mean, my wife really hates running. And just this year, she started getting into it very, very slowly. And I'm so proud of her. And now she's running 5Ks quite comfortably. And so, I mean, I think, anybody can do it if they just kind of get out there and try and keep at it. Little by little, you get better, and it's a great feeling.